Good evening. Hi, everybody. Don't know about you guys, but winter just drives me out. Hey, so bad. Just adding. You received the notification? Connecting.
Hello.
Hi. How are you going? I love
I'm
that
good.
you're.
How are you?
I'm good. You have to excuse me. I've got a bit of a cough, so I may be like spluttering through this a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
all right.
I'll try and keep it at bay. I love that you're as punctual as I am. Punctuality is such a turn on for me. I love it. How's your day
I'm
been?
not normally that punctual.
No. It's awesome. I love it.
I'm
Hi
getting better.
guys,
I'm getting better.
oh good, nice. Hey everybody, once you jump on, make sure that you say hello so that we know who is watching. We'll just wait a couple of minutes just to make sure that some people jump on and then we'll get started. So how's your day been?
Okay. It's been good.
Yeah, what have you got
Yeah.
to?
I was just coming back from Brisbane, so I spent majority of the day on the road, but I find driving very therapeutic. I don't know,
Yeah,
you
you kind of
crank the
get in the zone.
tunes. Yeah. Yeah. Very
So you were
grounding.
driving back to the coast because aren't you moving?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be a live-in nanny
Oh,
in
that's
the next
right.
few weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
cool.
big change for me.
Yeah, as well as doing your own work on the side.
Yes. So,
You're
and
getting
I'm
your own.
kind of in a bit of a transition and change with that as well. So, that kind of aligns with speaking your truth. So, I've been sitting in a bit of a limbo space with how it's all going to unfold, but really now getting into that space of authentically speaking your truth. So,
Yeah, wicked.
mm,
Awesome. It's
it's a big theme
such
right now.
yeah, I think it's going on for a lot of people actually. I
Mm,
especially like I'm just being challenged constantly on it. It's like,
yeah,
Nick, are you speaking your truth? Is this actually really in alignment with you? Or are you just trying to
yeah.
fit in and fluff around the stuff again?
And I think you don't really actually see where you're still sitting in resistance. You're like, no, I'm doing it. I'm doing the work. And then you go, oh no, I'm still sitting in resistance.
Yes.
Wow, I'm still sitting in resistance.
Yep. And you know what was
Yeah.
amazing today? I did. Have you heard of the O2 Awakening?
No, what's that?
So it's a 4 hour workshop, and it's all around breath work. It's with these amazing Kiwi
Oh,
dudes,
wow.
a girl and a guy. There's three of them. So there's two of them are in a relationship, and then an extra girl, another girl. And it was literally the most profound experience I've ever had in regards to self healing. Like I'm still
Wow.
like processing, obviously, and integrating and
Yeah,
feeling all the feels. So I'm
taking it
feeling
all
really
in.
raw, but yeah, like nothing I've ever experienced before. It was like I have you ever done drugs, ecstasy, or any kind of
Yes.
yeah. So it was like taking yourself into that kind of experience,
Like the
but
euphoric state.
with breath. Like
Wow.
absolutely incredible. Hi Rachel, how you going? Yeah, like absolutely incredible, and just what came up and what released, and then at the end, just being in this space of just total calm and laughing at because I've been feeling really blocked in a lot of stuff. I was like, what is
Mm,
it? You know, when you kind of feel that block and you're just like, what is it? What is going on? I can't quite figure it out. And then today it was just
yeah.
like, I was laughing 1 minute, sobbing, like bawling, you know, that real howling cry the
Yeah.
next. And then at the end, I was just like, ah, that's what it
That's
was.
it.
Awesome. And started laughing again and just getting like, oh, fuck. So it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Highly, highly recommend it if you get the opportunity to do it. I'm
That
actually
is
going to look
something that
at.
I've
studying it so I can
It's something
be
that
a
I've
practitioner.
felt pulled to do is that breath work at the moment. So yeah,
Amazing. And it
interesting that
wasn't
came
like
up.
the kind of, you know how you usually taught to breathe into the belly and connect with your
Yes.
entire lung? Well, this was like breathing into heart space. Phenomenal.
Oh,
Yeah, awesome.
that's powerful.
We can chat about it more another time, but there's a few
Yes.
people on now, so let's get stuck
Sounds
into
good.
speaking your truth. So make sure you say hello when you jump on, guys. I can see a few eyes, but I'm only seeing a few people popping up. And make sure you give us lots of likes and love hearts if the stuff that we're talking about resonates for you. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section. We love the interaction so that we know that, you know, you guys are enjoying what we're talking about and getting something out of it. So keep us informed and let us know what's going on. So this is the lovely Carly Hicks. Hi. Welcome. So
Thank you.
let's get stuck in. Do you have a morning routine? And if so, what is it?
Yes, I do. My morning routine is when I wake up, I always practice stillness. Coming back to the heart space and just connecting with the heart is a non-negotiable for me. I've done meditation for the past 6 years, but there's something really powerful about sitting in that stillness and connecting back to your heart. So that is a non-negotiable for me when I wake up. Another non-negotiable is that I always practice gratitude. One thing that I'm grateful for every day. And because I work a lot with my body and I really understand my body now, I always begin with a digestive tonic just to, you know, stimulate the stomach juices. And because I have a very rare autoimmune disease, so I have to really be mindful of what I put in my body and just, yeah, it's about coming back to the heart space, gratitude, and really getting those digestive fires started for the day. They're my 3 non-negotiables.
Yeah, beautiful. Sounds good. Especially that stillness. Hey, I think that's such a key because it sets you up for the rest of your day. If you can connect with heart space straight away, you just carry that throughout the whole day with you, don't you?
Yeah. And it's not something like people talk about meditation and that, and you know, it's just a few minutes that you need in the morning just to wake up, and instead of the first thing that you see is your phone, maybe just then instead of grabbing the phone, grab your heart and sit with that.
Cool. So how do you
Yeah.
practice that? Do you just sit and hand on heart, or what do you do exactly? Do you just sit?
What I do, just hand on heart, and just closing the eyes and just breathing into that heart space and connecting with it and sitting with any emotions that may arise and allowing myself to fully express that if anything does come up. I think that's a big thing is we don't allow ourselves to express our emotions freely. And, you know, dropping into that heart space is a powerful tool to express our emotions easily and authentically. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. Yeah. So it's not hard. It doesn't have to be hard. You know, the mind creates it to be hard, but it's not. It's about closing the eyes, putting the hand on the heart, breathing into that space, and that's it.
Yes. So simple. So simple. Yet so many people just don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And that whole kind of I believe it's a part of that whole ego kind of trying to keep you safe. Well, this is comfortable. It may be causing you pain, but it's comfortable. So, you know, we'll keep you here because this is what I know what to deal with. But stepping outside of that, where the good stuff happens, out of that comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, tell us a bit more about yourself. Who are you and how have you come to be doing what you're doing?
So I am a women's worthiness and well-being coach, and I work with women to connect back to their bodies, to understand their bodies, and to stop really waging an inner war with themselves. I kind of, this is not the path that I was always going to take. I, the way that I fell upon this was actually, I I really struggled as a child. I was very intuitive, very psychic. Really struggled with that. Didn't understand it. Didn't understand what was happening to me. And then through my teens, I ended up battling quite a severe alcohol addiction, and really turned to that and recreational drugs. Pretty much just to cope and numb the pain and block all that out. Didn't want to feel, didn't want to deal with all that.
Such a common theme, hey?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then at the age of 24, I was diagnosed with a very rare autoimmune disease where my gut attacks itself. And and it took about 8 months for them to diagnose. I was bedridden. I had paralysis to my right side, short-term memory loss. My body was basically burning from the inside out. It was that poisoned. But, you know, that was the biggest gift that I was given, is because it got me off that self-destructive path. And over the next 6 years, I went through this journey of really sitting with myself, understanding my body, understanding tools to nourish my body, connect with my body. I sat in a lot of meditation and body work, and it really led me onto this course of really seeing how our emotions can manifest into the physical body. And it's because we don't have a general understanding of ourselves. We're so disconnected from ourselves and who we are and what our bodies need to sustain optimal health. Like, we're so used to being so disconnected, and it was something that I just got so sad of seeing, is that people were just waging this inner war with themselves because they were just so lost.
Yeah.
You know, who am I? And yeah, that's just kind of how I fell into it.
So you work predominantly now with women who have struggled to bear children and have been unsuccessful. Is that correct?
I seem to be gravitating more towards mothers who have lost themselves from having children, and also women that are struggling to have children.
Okay.
But I'm in this process at the moment, like, speaking my truth, is that I'm really in this space of unknown right now, and going, okay, well, it's not just a one size fits all. There is so many other women that are going through this process of, I don't know who I am. I don't know anything about my body, understanding my body. And it's really that, for me, with healing, it wasn't just a one size fits all. It was like mental, emotional, spiritual, like that whole aspect. And I could just start to see that more and more. So at the moment, speaking my truth, is that I'm in this rebirthing phase at the moment with my business, and just seeing that it's just so much more than this niche. Like, there's so many more people that need this. So
how long
I'm in a bit of a limbo stage.
How long have you been doing this?
Coaching. I started that in November last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it was actually, I started that in a very kind of dark period. I was going through not one but two relationship breakdowns, and I was engaged to one of the partners that I was with, and sitting with that, and then having all this come up for review. And I made a promise to myself in November when I started this, is that I was going to give myself the time and space to just sit and be by myself and heal myself, and come back to a place of just feeling so whole within myself. And
Yes.
I could see a pattern that was unfolding within me of having that person to complete me, not to walk beside me and share the journey with, but I needed some attachment. It was another form of not being able to sit with myself.
Yeah,
And
filling a void
yeah,
of some
I'm
kind.
yeah, and I made a commitment to myself that when I began this coaching journey, that I was going to heal through these women, and I did that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Ah, good
so that's my
feels.
journey.
Yeah, yeah, wicked. So what has your kind of direct experience been with speaking your truth? Like, for me personally, it's not always something that I've done very well. I've often spent a lot of time agreeing when I don't agree, or just really not having that courage. I struggled with self-esteem for a very long time. I was incredibly shy. I labeled myself an observer, but really it just came down to low self-esteem, low self-worth, and being too afraid to speak up. So I would often be in situations where, people would be talking about things and having conversations, and I'd have stuff to say that was really important to be said, but I didn't believe that what I had to say was important enough to be heard. And so I held
Yeah.
myself back so much, and it was really crippling, because I was like, oh, I was like in this internal war with myself going, speak up, no, 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 speak, like just constantly, just not having that courage, or that, belief in self to really step up and put myself out there. I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your experience been with it?
I was exactly the same. I was a big people pleaser. I had no boundaries at all growing up. In my teenage years, my 20 years, in my 20s, I remember I would do things like, when I would talk to someone, the tone of my voice would change to try and suit them. I'd start listening to music I didn't even like.
Yeah.
I'd start dressing a certain way, and I'm like, oh, this isn't even me. And it's just like, oh, I'm trying to fit in to what they want me to be. And I'm like, I don't even know myself. But the only way that I got off that cycle was my illness. My illness was a catalyst for the change, really, because once I got sick and I got knocked fully down, I could see the impact of me not being myself and expressing myself, and how it just manifested into this disease.
Yeah, and
And
that's
I made a
exactly it. The
promise. Yeah.
emotional suppression, which manifests in dis-ease in the body. It's
Disconnection from oneself. Yeah. So it was kind of like I had to hit rock bottom to actually see the light. Well, we normally do, don't we? The breakdown, in that breakdown comes a breakthrough.
yeah,
So, and I started to really make a promise to myself that I was going to start to honor myself and respect myself, and start to put myself first. And at the start, it was kind of difficult, because you have that aspect of, no, I'm being selfish. This is selfish,
yeah.
because you're so used to putting somebody else first, but it's not. It's necessary, you
And that's
know.
such a female thing. Hey, like, we're such givers
Yeah,
and nurturers and carers and want to help others, that we often forget to really look after ourselves. And
yeah,
especially when you become a mother, it's even tenfold, because it's like your kids are like your number one priority. And I think a lot of people, when that happens, they forget that, well, before the kids, there was you and your partner, and that
yeah,
you two are the most important people in the relationship, in the family unit, and then it's the kids, not the other way around. Because
yeah.
if you guys
That's
aren't functioning well, then the kids have got nothing.
that's right. Yeah, and working with like mothers as well, and explaining that to them. There is this core thing ingrained into them is that they feel guilty. They feel so guilty for putting themselves first when they should be putting their children first. And it's just, you need to fill your cup up first so you can give them, you know, that time and energy that they're needing.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, it is
Definitely.
something so necessary.
And I definitely noticed that myself because I've got two boys. And one's just going into, he's 21 months and the other one's 8 months. And if I don't, like the times where I don't make time for self-care and really looking after myself, I'm just a completely different mother. I'm snappy, I'm reactive, I'm not patient with them. You know, I get really frustrated really easily. And I'm just not as loving and nurturing and caring as I can be when I have actually really made time to look after myself and do something that fills up my cup, for sure.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you went through your disease, sorry, I'm just going to kill it. Got it.
All right.
When you went, you know, when you first discovered your disease, so I would imagine that your life would have changed dramatically from partying and going out all the time. So how did you deal with that? Like, was that because all your friends would have been in the party scene, or like, that must have been a massive shift for you.
Yeah,
Rediscovering.
It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult because, one, trying to understand actually what was going on with me, because it was such a rare form of disease, I couldn't even get my head around it, let alone anybody else.
Yeah.
And then having to try and be in a relationship where the other person still wants to go out, still wants to have fun, and then you then feel like a burden because you can't do those things.
Yeah.
And also to going out with your family members and going, well, I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, and I can't do that. And it's just like a massive shift. But I just had to keep coming, even though they didn't understand, I had to keep coming back to a place of going, okay, well, I've just got to keep putting myself first, because I can't be people pleasing and it impact my physical health.
Yeah.
And you know what? Over time, they started to understand it, and they started to watch me change my health and change my life, and seeing the impact started to make a radical shift with even like family members and friends. And now they come to me for help and advice. And it's just walking your talk. Like you've got to be really in tune with what is right for you, and be really aligned to that and stick to that.
Yeah.
And
So it's
people
even
that will,
steps further beyond just speaking your truth. It really comes to living your truth, doesn't it?
oh yeah,
And really stepping into that alignment of, you know, who you are, what you need, what you actually want to create in your life, and living by that, your values, etc.
And the biggest thing that I found too is that I had to come from a place of understanding and compassion for the people around me as well, going, okay, well, they don't understand. They just don't understand. Like, it's very hard for me to understand, let alone them to understand. And they're not doing it from a hurtful place. They're doing it just because they just simply don't understand right now. So what I would do is I would try to just talk to them about it, and just share my experience with them, and just going, you know, this is where I need a little bit of assistance and support. I know you don't understand, but all I need is a space for you to just hear me out and listen. And when I came from that place, it was just, a dramatic shift in my relationships and even with my healing. But
so really connecting to your truth and
yeah,
excuse me, connecting to your truth and really speaking it clearly, and just saying, this is what I need. This is what I need from you guys.
And I think the thing is too is that we don't speak our truth for fear of judgment, or for fear of rejection, and going, sometimes we go, okay, I'm not even going to say anything because I know that you're just not going to understand.
Yes, I've done that
Or,
so many times. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
so
it's
I'm
going
not
to
even going
fall
to
on deaf
bother.
ears. Yeah.
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 And then it's going, well, I need to give these people the benefit of the doubt. I'm jumping to assumptions and creating stories, and I actually need to give these people the benefit of the doubt. And most of the times they'll come back and it'll surprise you and go, wow, I should have said this
Yeah.
sooner.
I had that experience yesterday. Actually, we went and did a Rogaine. Do you know what a Rogaine is?
No.
So Rogaine, I know it sounds like it's like the hair loss stuff, but it's not. It's basically you go out running. So you get a map and it has all checkpoints, and you basically run around. It's like orienteering kind of thing, and run around and get these checkpoints. So it was like a 40K. It was an 8-hour Rogaine, but we just did as much as you could in that time. But there was 4 of us that were meant to do it, and my partner's sister, her partner was going to do it, but we arrived at the campsite and they had dogs and they weren't meant to have dogs. And anyway, the entire situation just blew up, and all I could see was, like, I was just sitting back watching it and just watching these two people just really reacting to each other, and the anger was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All I wanted to do was pull Brendan aside and say, look, you had every opportunity in that experience, in that connect, or what's it called, interaction, to choose a different path. You could have chosen a path of love rather than a path of anger and frustration at this old man who's just trying to do his job. And yes, he may not have expressed himself in a way, but that's where you get the opportunity to rise above. And God, I so badly wanted to pull him aside and say that, but I was just like, he's not going to understand it. He's not going to get it. He won't get it. And then in the end, he didn't end up doing the race with us because he was so angry at this guy. And it's like, well, the only person that's lost out in that situation was you.
It's yourself. Yeah.
But it's like, how do you voice that to someone who... And that's where I kind of go, well, maybe just saying it, just actually speaking it, they may not get it in that moment, but they may go home and think about it. It may still land on them at a later time, and it may make them, or allow them to, or invite them to look at themselves and choose a different path next time. So it's not so much about actually getting that result of, okay, yeah. It's often about just speaking it and getting it out and letting it land on them if it does.
And too, as well, that once you say that, like you said, it brings awareness to them. They sit with it and they go, I don't even realize I'm doing that. Sometimes they don't even realize what they're doing.
True.
And then just by you bringing awareness to that, they go, oh, wow, is that how I'm coming across? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's so true. And I guess if you express it from heart, from love, a space of love yourself, then if they react or respond to that in an ineffective way, then it's it's not your responsibility how they react to it. It's how you show up, isn't it? So
yeah. And remember, everybody is a mirror. So just because you say something to them and they react in that way, you're just shining a light on something that they don't wish to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all mirrors.
We really are. Hey.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So how has really stepping into your truth and being really aligned impacted your life in the way that you kind of put yourself out there now and speak your truth?
Life flows. That's probably the easiest way I can explain it, is that life just seems to, when I was sitting in resistance and fear and not speaking my truth, life just seemed to be a lot harder. And I was hitting a lot more resistance and a lot more blocks because I wasn't being truthful to myself. And I kept devaluing myself and putting myself lower and lower and lower down. And then I just felt like I was on this continual struggle. And then as I started to speak my truth, I started to see how the only person that was limiting myself was myself.
Yeah.
And speaking your truth, even though it can be uncomfortable at times, it really brings in a lot more flow into your life. it just seems to flow easier. That's probably the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, definitely. And it releases you, I think. You feel a sense of freedom, of
Yes.
no longer trying to conform or fit in, or you just feel liberated to be able to just be like, this is who I am. This is what's true for me, and I'm going to express myself. And if you like it, then that's great. If you don't, well, that's okay too. But you're actually living life by your terms. You're not living
Yes.
life to please others or, to make anyone else happy. It really comes back to looking after yourself, like you said, first, filling your cup
Yeah.
up and then.
And I think too, with me, like I had gotten to the point, especially in my relationship before it broke down, I gotten to the point where I could not push that feeling down anymore.
Yeah.
And it just kept manifesting in different ways, and it would be frustration and anger and resentment. And I would be in knots in my stomach, and I would just be so fatigued and exhausted and just depleted. And I just go, I can't do this to myself anymore. I can't keep deceiving myself and putting myself through this. And I think the pain of all that just got too much, and I just had to express it.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a brilliant sort of quote, or I heard an analogy. There was, I'm going to share it because it's awesome. There was this guy, and he went over to a friend's house, and there was a dog lying on the porch, and the dog was moaning and groaning and, going, "Urgh." Anyway, the guy answered the door, and his mate was like, "What's wrong with the dog?" And he's like, "Oh, he's just lying on a nail." And the guy's like, "Well, why isn't he get up off the nail and move somewhere else?" And he said, "Well, because the pain isn't uncomfortable enough yet." And I was just like, boom, it's so true. It's not until that pain gets to a level of discomfort that you cannot tolerate anymore, that's when you make the change. But until then, people will just sit there and whinge and moan and groan about whatever's going on and not do anything about it.
So true.
And like you said, once that pain got to that point.
And people have to be ready for that change. They have to get to that breaking point and go, I can't do this anymore. Absolutely. It's more uncomfortable to be in my body than it is to be experiencing all this. Like, you've got to get to that point of going, I'm ready for change.
Definitely. And I remember when I had my massive breakdown at like 25 years of age, a friend of mine died, and he was the catalyst for me like spiraling into a huge depression. I was really unhappy, but this was just like the kick in the guts. Because it was a real realization of, fuck, I'm 25 and I'm fucking miserable and I could die tomorrow, having not lived my life. And I just remember that moment so clearly. And I was grieving him, but I was more grieving for myself as well at that time, because I was just like, I just didn't know what to do. I just didn't know where to turn. And I was really lucky. I had a friend who was just like, you need help, let's go. And I was like, awesome, thank you. And that was the start of it. But that pain was just so raw and so intense that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, and it's like we go through these darkest moments of our life, but we look back on those moments and go, well, that was actually the catalyst for change. And I had to go from that breakdown to actually having that breakthrough and going, like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I have to. I think for me with my disease as well, it was just like I had to hit that rock bottom and go, I'm not living my life. Like, I have just been existing as a shell of a person, and I can't do this anymore. And it's a big wake up call and I think a lot of people resist speaking their truth and getting to that point of actually working through it, because they've got to sit with that self-acceptance. They've actually got to bring it up, all those repressed emotions, and bring it up for review in order to heal that and move forward. And for some people that can be really confronting.
Definitely. I think for 99% of the population that's confronting. It's whether or not you're willing to go there, and that's the difference. Like, But that's the beauty as well, is like, yes, you step into that pain and you feel it, but what's on the other side? Oh, and I find it really challenging, because especially in my line of work, and I see women who are so unhappy and and I'm just like, I know the secret. I just want to shake them and go, you can change this.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't have to be like this. There is a better way, but you have to be willing to go there. And that was what happened today. I had to release, because this has just been festering in me, obviously, and I had to face that pain, and fuck, it hurt. Like, I was like wanting to curl up in a ball and just not be seen. I was in so much pain. But when that release happened, and that, that click or whatever it was just like, oh, okay, it's gone, it's moved. And that feeling
It's
is
clarity,
just like
isn't
bliss.
it?
Absolutely. And I was
Yeah.
laughing. I was like, oh my God, that is it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
just laughing, going, all this time. Fuck.
It must have been something happening the last few days, because the similar experience with me is just like, I was just like on this roller coaster of emotions, and then just clarity
Yeah,
hit.
full moon. I reckon.
Yeah, there you go.
Brings it out, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So what strategies do you suggest initially, that, people who are watching can kind of start stepping into, to be really connecting with self and their truth and speaking it?
I think probably one would be, how do I word this? It's just giving people the benefit of the doubt. That would be the biggest thing. And to
Excuse me.
just slowly start to express yourself in little ways. Like,
So don't just like
maybe
roll
go,
up and be like, hi everybody.
yeah,
This is the new me.
this is me. Maybe, that's what I loved about creating women's circles, is that it gave them a space to be seen and heard and expressed. So maybe if you're not comfortable with speaking your truth to the people around you, like family members and friends, maybe finding a space that, support groups that are going to give you that opportunity and that space to actually just be seen. And having that like-minded group. Like, I remember, like, when I got sick and going on that whole...
Sorry, can you hear that? Griffin, away from the door, please, darling. Toddlers. Sorry. Sorry, carry on.
No, you're right. When I first went on my whole self-discovery journey, was that I was craving that connection. And for me, it was easier to find that space with like-minded women that could understand me, and that allowed me to open up more. So then I was able to then open up to the people closest to me. But yeah, probably the biggest thing I would say is find a community where you feel safe to express. Support groups. If you don't have that opportunity where, with your family or the people closest to you, finding that space. Even you look at the groups now, like Facebook groups, social media groups, they're becoming bigger and bigger because people are wanting that connection. They're wanting to be heard. They're wanting to be seen. And if that gives them a safe space to even just start in that way, it's the catalyst to then getting more confident. And that's what I would say is to find a space where you feel supported in.
Yeah, beautiful. That's a great idea, actually, because then you're around like-minded people. Like you said, you're around women who are going through the same thing, and you can really encourage each other and support each other to kind of push through that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, obviously it takes a lot of courage to really stand in that space and to really speak that truth, and overcoming those fears can be so challenging. And I guess if you've got that support around you from other women who are going through the same thing, then they're going to, help you really push through those fears, aren't they?
Definitely. And I suppose for me, I'm so used to sitting in that space of just picking myself up and moving ahead and that confidence and courage. But, you know, working with these women is that people struggle with that
Yeah.
immensely, to find that inner confidence and courage to move forward. So that's why I started creating these circles, is because I wanted women to have that space. That
So are you
space
going to
to
be
be
running
just
those in
fully.
Brisbane?
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I'm just getting myself, I'm in this like limbo phase at the moment, but I'm moving at the end of June. So I'm
Cool.
looking at spaces, yeah, where I can start my circles back up.
Yeah, beautiful.
Because
Awesome.
it's something so powerful about creating a space to just be heard and seen, and connecting with other like-minded people and going, I'm not going through this on my own. That person understands me, gets me, and it's a
God, it
way
makes
for
all the
you
difference,
to,
hey?
yeah. And it's a way for them to express their emotions in a way that they don't keep suppressing it. Because, you know, we keep
Yes.
suppressing it, and then that's when we become disconnected, and that's where disease occurs. And it's just creating those spaces to express your emotions in a healthy, authentic way.
Yeah, definitely. So, and another thing, like, so with the speaking your truth, how can that really help someone heal and grow from past trauma and experiences?
Well, like, yeah, like I say, is the more that we suppress, the more it manifests, and over time it manifests into physical disease. So if we're not expressing ourselves, we're becoming more and more disconnected from our physical bodies, and we're, you know, it's ending up in disease.
Definitely.
So it's like, I think it is too, is that we have been in this space of not feeling safe to express our emotions. And that's what I've loved, working with mothers, and even with my nieces and nephews, watching them as children, because they so easily are able to express their emotions so freely.
I know,
You
it's
know, they go
beautiful,
from
hey?
happy to sad, but then over time they seem to lose that. And it's like, well, where does that end? Where does the ability to stop expressing your emotions, where does that end?
I
You
think that
know?
ends in the shh, stop being silly. You need to stop crying. There's nothing wrong with you.
It's that shutdown, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's
The
teaching them, oh, it's
yeah.
not okay for me to express my emotions. It's not okay for me to cry.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of
Yeah.
that, especially with my boys. Like, you have days where they just
Yeah.
don't stop fucking crying, and you're just like, just stop. Shush. Like, it's really
Yeah.
can do your head in. But
Yeah.
yeah, you've got to be really careful. And that's where that awareness, I think, especially for mums and parents, is really important, because then hopefully with that awareness comes that change that will filter down through the generations.
Yeah. And a powerful tool that I started using with friends that have kids is that, you know, when they go to make a decision, you allow them the step to feel into that decision and go, does that feel good for you?
Oh,
You know,
nice.
if that feels, yeah, yeah, like, if, does that feel good for you, or do you not like that feeling? Like, even like buying clothes, okay, how does that feel for you? Does that feel good? Do you enjoy wearing that? And that's a way for them to connect into that emotion and go, and then make a decision from an emotion based.
Yeah, beautiful. Because that's something that
Yeah.
when you kind of shut down that part of you to try and get back to that place is really, because this wants to play such a huge part in it, rather than just here and going, okay, well, how does that
Yeah.
feel? You almost forget how to kind of use that
Yeah.
trust, that self, that heart feeling.
And it's as simple as that. How does that feel for you? If that
Yeah,
feels good, then do it. If that doesn't feel good, then don't do
don't
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Simple.
But we
So
tend
simple.
to overcomplicate it. Yeah,
Of
it
course we
is.
do. It's because we're so smart.
Yeah.
So brain.
Quiet down.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, what three tips would you give anyone who feels as though they haven't really been speaking their truth, but they're ready to kind of start stepping into that spout of power and like start speaking from their heart? So, there's like the woman circle, but to really kind of connect with that truth within themselves and really kind of get to know who they are again.
3 tips. Ooh. The first one would be to sit with yourself, because there's no other way that you're going to understand what your truth is unless you sit with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, sit in the stillness. So a tool that I give my clients is that, you know, for 10 to 20 minutes a week, go out in nature, sit somewhere that's going to allow you to connect back to yourself. But a powerful tool that I use with my clients is I really work with energy and work with nature. And it's such a powerful healing tool, and it's free.
Yes.
Yeah. And we, you know, it's the quickest way to get back into that heart space as well. So, yeah, I would say sitting with yourself first and foremost. If you don't feel able to express, like, in a verbally way, get a diary and just start writing down, you know.
Journaling so powerful.
Oh, it is, yeah. Yeah, so sitting in the stillness. Sitting in the stillness would be 1. Connecting back to nature would be 2. And journaling practices would be 3. Like, they are the most powerful tools that I use in my coaching, and they have the biggest breakthroughs. And they're simple tools and tools that we can actually incorporate in our daily life.
Yeah. So with the journaling, because I know that when I first started journaling, I used to get really used to struggle with it because I don't know what to write about. What do I write about? You know. So is there any kind of questions that they can ask themselves to open up and start opening up that kind of, what's the word? Can't find my words today. That pathway into self and, you know, discovering their truth.
So they could start writing about, so if just say a situation unfolds, they could start writing about that situation. So, you know, just say Joe Smith stole my car park space, and maybe they start writing about that and go, how did that make me feel? And you want to get to that feeling base. So how did that make me feel? Well, that made me feel angry. And then you go, well, why did that make me feel angry? Because of this. So bringing that awareness to the emotion, so to the situation, to the emotion, and finding a way to express that and go, that's why it made me feel like that.
Yeah. Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
And it's it's just such simple stuff, hey. Like every time
It
we
is.
have
It
these
is.
conversations, you just go, it's not rocket science, guys. Like, it really is that simple.
But I think it's because, you know, the world is so chaotic, and it's just this go, 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 go. And we tend to kind of lose ourselves in that process. So finding those little pockets of stillness throughout your day is going to be fundamental in coming back to yourself.
Definitely.
You know, whether it's 5 minutes in the morning, putting your hand on your heart and connecting with that, whether it's, you know, on your lunch break and you put your feet on, if you can find a patch of grass, put your feet on the grass, whatever it's going to do to allow you to connect back to yourself, just bringing that in more.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we're going to be able to understand what our truth is. Because we're around people all day, every day, we're taking on the opinions and the beliefs of other people. And then we tend to get confused and go, okay, well, what is my belief? What is your belief?
Yeah.
is that an opinion? Like, we get
How do I
confused
actually
and we
feel
go,
about this? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and that's the only way, is it's just, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It's just coming back to yourself and sitting in that stillness and just, yeah, processing that and going, well, how does that make me feel? Is that in alignment with me? No, that doesn't really sit well with me. That doesn't really feel right. But
Yeah.
it's, yeah, sitting in that stillness, connecting
And that's
back.
the thing, like, your body tells you, hey, your body tells you so much. And when you start asking the right questions, the answers are just clear as day. Clear as day.
Yeah.
Like, we already
Yeah.
know. And that was a massive thing that came out of my day to day. It was like, Nick, just trust. You already know the answers. Just trust yourself. It
It
was
is the
massive.
trust, isn't it? The biggest thing is trusting
Because
in yourself.
we're like, we are told by so many and so much society and people around us and, you know, everyday interactions of be yourself, but do it this way. Be yourself, but do it this way. It's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It can be so confusing. And you just go, oh, fuck it, just hands in the air and go, oh, whatever. I'm just going to do whatever, you know, society tells me to because it's easier.
Yeah.
Where
And
it's
I've
not.
been in, like, especially with moving soon and being and going through this whole process of rediscovering myself, is I've had to detach from a lot of things. I started detaching not just materialistic possessions, but newsletter lists, like email list, and a lot of people on social media that I had never seen in 10 years. And I stopped watching the news, and I'm just going, a lot of that is just taking in energy, and it's just like, I don't feel in alignment with that. And it's when you start to see that, you start to really see how opinions and beliefs of others are just constantly coming into your day-to-day life. So if you can find, decluttering is a big one. So go through your newsletter list, like your email list, and go, do I'm actually reading that? Does that resonate still with me? Going through your social media list and going, well, that person, do I still see them? Do I still follow that group? Like, you know, just decluttering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being
And
more
that's the thing, like,
mindful of where you're putting your time and energy.
for sure, and what you're absorbing. And I think that, especially this day and age with social media, it was a lot easier, like when I was growing up, because we didn't have social media. So you were less inclined to, like, you took on the opinions of your mates at school and stuff, but you didn't have this constant input of information telling you what's right, what's wrong, what's right, what's wrong. And you could make your own decisions a lot more and a lot easier without feeling like, oh God, I'm getting it wrong, or I need to be more like her, or I need to dress more like her, or, you know, it was a much simpler time. Whereas now, and that's why I really worry about kids, is because they're growing up with this stuff, and it's from the earliest age. Like, I met an 8-year-old the other day who was starting to wear makeup because she thought it made her look prettier. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what's your mother doing?
Where did that begin?
Exactly. But she's like, oh yeah, my mum lets me. I watch my mum wear makeup. And I'm like, well, there's no way in hell I would be letting my 8-year-old wear makeup. Or it's certainly not allowing her to believe that for her to wear that, it's going to make her beautiful. Because I asked her, I said, well, do you actually think that you're beautiful without the makeup? And she was like, oh, I think I'm more beautiful with the makeup.
Oh.
And I was like, honey, you're 8.
Yeah.
But she was on this Musical.ly app and doing all these dances. Like, it was quite disturbing. I was just like,
yeah,
you're 8. So it's really full on. It's going to be interesting to see how the generations evolve, actually.
I think people are becoming a lot more mindful, though.
Yes, that's
right
true.
now, you know, a lot more people are awakening and becoming more mindful of where they put their time and their energy, and their resources. So,
and I don't think too
it could
that
change.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, because I think there is a real detachment from just how much that stuff actually plays a part in determining your actions and your beliefs and how you're showing up in the world. And I just recently did a massive cull of Facebook pages and Instagram, because I was finding that I just had all this stuff popping up in my feed that I was looking at and going, I don't even like this stuff. I don't actually align with any of this. And this is just not right. I'm reading Earth is Hiring by Peter Kelly, and she talks about the kink in the hose. And I'm just like, I've got these massive kinks in my hose by what I'm consuming. Like the stuff that I'm consuming is not filling me up at all. It's just rubbish, just crap that I don't even get, like I don't even care about or I don't align with at all, yet it's a constant feed into my psyche.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And remember, only you know you.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, and yeah, once again, we tend to overcomplicate it. But yeah, only you know what's right for you. And the only way you're going to find that is if we make it simple and you just tap back into that. That's all you have to do, is just sit with yourself and sit with what feels true to you. And if it doesn't feel true to you, then don't do it. If it does, then do it. And that's all you need to know. And we tend to overcomplicate it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How does it make
Simple.
me feel? Yep.
Yeah. How does it make me feel? Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. All right. So I've got 3 rapid fire questions for you. What was the last book that you read?
Oh. Rise, Sister, Rise.
Oh, okay.
By
Right.
Rebecca
That's
Campbell.
it. I've got to get this book because you're the 3rd person that's mentioned this book to me now. We bought this book up. So I'm like, okay. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Was it good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is it one that you need to get in hard copy, or can you audible it?
I would get it in hard copy because there's questions that you answer. Oh, actually, no, I'd get it in hard copy. Yeah, because there is questions that you can answer. That's what I loved about it. I kind of just intuitively would turn to different pages and there'd be questions there, and then you'd answer it and you go, oh, wow, I'm really starting to understand and rediscover parts of myself that had been kind of hidden. So that's what I loved about it. It was like kind of a self-discovery book about learning about yourself, really.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely going to get my hands on that one. I've just got literally like a pile of books. I just keep adding to it. Like I've just got Earth is Hiring, so I'm knuckling into that, and I'm knuckling into The Universe Has Your Back. Have you read that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing.
But do you know what? Do you know what is great too is that because I'm very intuitive based, and I would struggle to read a book from start to finish. And then I thought to myself, why am I even doing this? Like, I don't want to read a book from start to finish. So then I'd start to go into different chapters of books, and then I'd read a little bit and then go to a different book.
Yeah, cool.
And that's just what flows with me. That's just what works for me.
That's a cool idea, actually.
But it would be a struggle to actually sit there and read a book from start to finish. It would, I'd sit in so much resistance because I would get bored and then I'd want to jump to something else. And so maybe you just have all these books to read, a chapter from one book and then a chapter from another. Yeah. And then it all starts to make sense anyway.
But that's why Audible, I love Audible because it's something I can actually do when I'm out walking, or I can like like allow it to kind of merge more into my life, whereas sitting and reading a book with 2 kids is pretty challenging. And I'm like you, I get bored. I'm like, what's next kind of thing. So I've got a heap of half-read books that I just haven't, gone back to.
Well, you only meant to read those pages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I just keep getting tapped. It's like these books just keep coming into my, God, I can't find my words. Into my whatever it is that, that space. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm listening. It's like it's telling me, the universe is telling me you need to be reading more. So I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
So you just go, which book am I going to read today? What chapter am I going to read?
Yeah, exactly.
See what unfolds.
What did you have for lunch today?
Oh, what did I have for lunch? I made like a buckwheat and vegetable coconut curry.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, so you just have
Nice.
buckwheat, like cooked buckwheat, and then I just had steamed vegetables. I dice up some ginger, garlic, dice up some rosemary with a bit of coconut milk, coconut aminos, and yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Awesome.
I'm actually
Sounds
starting
delish.
to go a lot more, vegetarian based. I don't know what is happening right now, but
So many people, I am too.
there's a pull.
Yeah, there's some massive
There's a
shifts
big
going on,
pull.
hey?
Mm.
Huge
I think it's
shifts.
really about getting into those foods that are really going to ground us. Getting into those foods that have such that high
High vibe.
vibrational, yeah, and really, yeah, we underestimate food and we underestimate nature and that powerful ability that it has to support us and connecting back to that and healing us.
But I love too that the millennials are bringing so much awareness back to that, hey? Like it's our job to recalibrate the world and get people back to connection with those things: nature,
Yeah,
food,
it's
self,
changing.
exercise. It
And
really is.
that's why I'm in this state of limbo with my kind of coaching and restructuring, is because it's going to have all those aspects to it. And I can see I've been sitting in this resistance of going this way, but it's just where it needs to go. And I think that's a big thing about understanding your body and connecting to your body and stop waging that war against your body is there's so many different aspects and layers to connecting to your body and understanding your body. It's that emotional, mental, spiritual, physical aspect
Definitely.
and connecting all that.
And disconnection too. Like yesterday when we were out doing this race, we were in the middle of nowhere and the guys had gone off. I was starting to get a bit sore. So the guys had gone off to get the checkpoint and I was cutting through to meet them. And I was just walking through in this space of, it was silence, it was stillness, there was the sun on my skin, the wind around me, like the breeze. I saw birds, there was water in front of me. I was just so blissed out and I was so tapped into source and mother nature and energy, and I just kept getting these messages just flowing through me. It was
Yeah.
incredible. And you miss out on that stuff. So I've got a new passion project. She's inside of me, she's being birthed at the moment. I don't know how she's going to come out of me, but she is
Yeah.
exquisite and she's so beautiful, and I can't wait her name is Life Unleashed, and she just has a soul of her own and I can feel it.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to push myself to push it out, to get it out faster. And all I could hear yesterday was, Nick, slow down. There's no rush.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but there's no rush. Just be patient
Yeah.
with it. And it was so, so, so clear. But had I not been in that space, had I not been connected to nature, had I not been connected to self, I would not have heard it. You know, if I hadn't been in that stillness. And that's where so many of us are missing out on the beauty of life, is that we're not connecting to that moment, that stillness, to be able to hear the
Yeah.
truth, to be able to listen to what we are being called forward to do or express or be or
Yeah.
what have
So
you.
true.
So good. Love it. All right. So what's your favorite quote or mantra that you can leave us with?
Oh. I don't really have one. I'm just trying to think. You've stumped me on this one. I'm just going to say I am whole, I am worthy, I am enough.
Nice.
Yeah. That's something that I've sat with for the past 5 months and continually been saying that to myself. So, yeah, for anyone that's watching, you keep saying that to yourself, because we are whole exactly as we are. We are worthy of everything that comes our way, and we are good enough for everything that the universe wants to bring into our lives, and we just need to see that.
Definitely. It was something I heard the other day, was that, or was it a couple of weeks, I can't remember exactly when, but there's a universal belief of I am not good enough. So literally every single person on this planet has this belief. I am not good enough. You can't escape it. It's a universal. It's like, can you imagine just for a moment how different this world would be if we all believed that we were good enough? It would just be entirely different.
And that's what I've seen with my coaching clients, because I get right back down to where these, core beliefs actually begin, and supporting them to clear that out and create new stories and new beliefs. But the core one that comes up all the time is, I am not good enough. I am not good enough. And it's just like, but you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good enough for everything. Yeah.
You all are.
Yeah. But I think the most powerful thing that I've seen shift with my clients is that actually seeing that written down of I'm not good enough, and actually associating that to the memory of where that first began. Because there's always a memory that's associated with that feeling. And it's about getting back to the core of where that originated from, and then bringing that up for review, and then clearing that out and creating a new belief.
Do you do NLP?
No, I actually do it through journaling.
Okay, cool.
Powerful journaling techniques that I use. And
awesome.
I've had mass breakthroughs with the women. But it's very interesting. I'm wanting to go more into a lot more body work, and doing, potentially NLP and Reiki and things like that, because it really is. It's that energy healing and connecting back to the physical body is so powerful. So powerful.
Yep. Oh, yep.
So just seeing where all this unfolds, it's just a journey.
It really is. Hey, you just got to take it,
at a time.
Trust it, and take it. Yeah. Do the dance. Yeah. Keep dancing the dance.
Yeah.
So how can we support you, Hannah? You're in transition with your business. So do you still have a website, or have you got a Facebook page, or?
I do. Yeah. My website is just carlyhicks.com. And my Facebook page is Carly Hicks as well. Yeah.
Cool.
And
so
my
we might get you to pop
Instagram
links.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going through a rebirthing phase, but it's really going to be transforming in the next few months.
Awesome.
And creating courses and packages and programs and workshops about really connecting back to your body, connecting back to yourself, and really connecting back to nature too, and creating tools and practices to bring your awareness back to yourself, connecting back to yourself essentially through mind, body, spirit.
Yeah, awesome.
So watch it unfold.
Yeah, wicked. So you're just kind of predominantly one-to-one clients at the moment, and then we'll step into more of the group stuff.
Yeah. It's just I'm in the transition phase through that and moving as well. But as soon as I get settled, and I have been working behind the scenes with some programs and courses, so just allowing myself to be in that space and allowing it to organically to come through.
Yeah, beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah. And she'll be birthed in the right time.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's always the right time.
Yeah.
All right, my love. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Gosh, it's been another hour.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure. Always. I just I'm loving these Sunday sessions so much. They're just so juicy and so heart-filling.
And it's needed.
And soul-filling.
It's needed.
So needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creating that space for just people to connect with other like-minded people, and having that space to be seen and heard and acknowledged and appreciated, and having different ways where you can go, well, I can incorporate that into my day, or I can do that. And, it's powerful what you're doing.
It really is. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your
Big
evening.
Thank you.
No worries. And make sure that you type your details in the comments.
I will, yeah, for sure.
So that we can
Thank you for having
support
me.
you. My pleasure. Anytime. All right.
Bye.
See you. Bye, everyone.